Thank you for joining us on Ebru Africa this morning. I'm Cherotich Kenei. This is the On Trend segment where we analyze stories making way across the social media. Well, we analyze stories basically making way across the tweeted trends, and today is no different. The stories we're highlighting today is a story about Uganda. Two things that are happening in Uganda is one, the legislation in regards to the anti-gay bill, and also to do with the fashion legislation that was passed just a few hours ago in Uganda. But also, what is touching again in this particular segment of On Trend is a story about Kenya. Now, a governor has just been impeached. That is the Embu County Governor, Mr. Martin Wambora. Now, he is a former governor. He has been impeached by the Senate. So we are waiting to see what exactly develops from this story. What we know as of today is a 3-judge bench will be sitting to hear this particular case to understand whether or not the Senate had the right to impeach this particular governor. But let's start off with Uganda. So the particular hashtag to follow is this particular hashtag called Uganda Here, where a lot of people are making their comments heard and known on exactly what they think about this anti-gay bill that has been that will be passed by Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni. Now, Mr. Kaguta, that is Uganda's president, said that he will ascend this particular bill that was passed by the legislature of Uganda in December. Now, he had mixed feelings of exactly when he should sign it. There was a time that he felt that he will not sign this particular bill. He was against the particular bill. But after an 11 group of scientists came together and actually gave him a proposal that told him there was no fact supporting the evidence that indeed being a gay person in the community is due to how you were born and how you were made or created. So this particular bill, to him, he has said has no biological backing or even religious backing. So a lot of people supporting this particular legislator are also the MPs, the policy makers, the religious leaders. So a lot of human rights activists are actually against this particular bill, who they say that at the end of the day, it will only bring up the rise in HIV and AIDS cases in Uganda. If no one talks about it, if it becomes a sort of a taboo in the country, then no one will be able or comfortable to talk about this particular situation. And the statistics coming in is that 73% of cases among gay people is because of HIV cases among gay people is because there's no that freedom of opening up and saying that indeed I am gay and my sexual partners are 1, 2, 3. There's that kind of secrecy that you have to keep. So a lot of prevalence in HIV and AIDS comes a lot through people being banned in sort of a way, being called or being put in the taboo segment in the community. So a lot of people are making their comments known. Now, we had Mr. Barack Obama, the President of the United States, on Sunday give a detailed statement on why he thinks that Yoweri Museveni should not particularly sign this particular bill, citing it will be a step backward in Uganda's championing of human rights, and it will just give a bad image to the Ugandan country as well. Now, the latest person to give his feedback on what he thinks is Mr. Ban Ki-moon, who is the Secretary General for the United Nations. Now, he says, if I may just quote for you here, he says that he has appealed for complete and universal decriminalization of homosexuality, still a criminal offense in some 76 countries, really stressing on this particular point that human rights must always trump cultural attitudes and societal strictures. And this just brings to you the effort that he's trying to ensure that our cultural backgrounds, and he also touched this when it came to the female genital mutilation campaign that took place a few weeks ago. Now, he's just trying to bring in the concept that indeed we are all of diverse cultures, but at the end of the day, we need to distinguish what is workable within the current situation we are, what falls under human rights and what does not fall under human rights. So we need to understand, what from his message is we need to be more tolerable to what is deemed minority groups in the community, which the lesbian, the gay, the bisexuals and the transsexuals fall under. So he is there to support this particular bill not to be passed. But a lot of African countries are not happy with this particular bill. Nigeria has passed a law that if you are found to be gay, you will be put to death. South Africa is the only country that has put a bill in the particular constitution that allows the union between gay couples in the country. But so far, in Kenya, in Tanzania, the Greater East African region, people are not happy. A lot of the Islamic State moving on to South Sudan and majority of the West African nations, a lot of Africans are not happy with this particular bill. We have tolerable countries within the African region, amongst the Central African region, the regions of Congo, people of Congo down to Cameroon. People are liberal, and when it comes to this particular issue, it has not been talked about. It is not in the legislature. It's not a topic that is making way. So they're a bit tolerable, but indeed it's not to say that this particular act is accepted in the African society. So the story is making way is that people are just talking about how this particular bill is not really helping contain the HIV situation in Uganda. A lot of people are saying that indeed if Uganda has passed this law, if it will pass this law, then it will be somewhat of not a country. It won't be like a state. Over here we have fierce and fabulous I am. Uganda is one country, I am telling you. And this just comes to the point where just yesterday, hours ago, Mr. Kaguta Museveni, the president of Uganda, signed a fashion legislation bill that has turned into law as of today, that indeed no person, no woman will be allowed to wear miniskirts in the country. So just to bring out that concept that indeed Uganda's legislation is somewhat what people are saying in this particular world is going to the dogs. People are saying that indeed Uganda suffers a lot out of lack of food, lack of security, proper infrastructure is not there, education needs to be addressed. So when he goes and talks about bedroom matters or how people dress, he's not really articulating what is in the heart of the fellow Ugandan, what the common Ugandan thinks about this. Other people are saying, okay, fine, this particular legislation is over and done with. What now? What next? Come back to what really matters in Uganda. We have here Partigo saying, now that President Obama is complaining about the anti-gay bill in Uganda, what is he doing to protect the gay community? Just to bring out that effect. So fine, he said he does not support this particular act that is going to be signed by the president. But what else is he doing about the gays? Is he offering support for the gay community in terms of offering United States compassion, allowing them to go to the US if they feel they're going to be persecuted? So what next, even after he said that? Now, a lot of people are just coming in and they're saying, and again, you have the United Nations AIDS agency that deals with HIV prevalence here in Africa and across the globe over. Now, Miss Chetty here is saying that UNAIDS says it's deeply concerned about a bill passed in Uganda that will toughen punishments against gay men. Now the bill stands at if you're a first-time offender accused of being a gay person in society, then you'll face up to 7 years in jail. But if you are a continuous repetitive, if I may say so, offender of this particular act, then you will be given life imprisonment. But they haven't said what constitutes of multiple. Is it once or thrice or 4 times? So we're waiting to see this particular law to be actually broken down to the people so that they may be able to understand what exactly is going to happen in their country. So a lot of people are really complaining in this particular bill here. We have here Remy say the only bill that made sense for us all was a marriage and divorce bill, but all those womanizing Uganda politicians would be culprits. Just bringing in the fact that indeed the only thing that makes sense when it comes to the union between two people, it is about their bedroom affairs, and it should stay in their bedroom affairs. So what should constitute in that particular marriage act is how to get rid of, not how to get rid of, but how to end what is deemed a marriage, a union that has come together. So we're having a lot of controversy. This Uganda story has brought a lot of controversy, and it has sparked a lot of debate here in Kenya as well. We have here, if I may just quote one thing, we have the homosexuality, a group just coming in and saying that indeed they're going to have a protest march. This is the Maendeleo Wanaume movement here in Kenya. They're saying they're going to hold a march dubbed, let me just quote for you, "Not in Africa," just bringing in the aspect that indeed if homosexuality in Uganda is not being considered by Mr. Yoweri Museveni, then here in Kenya we will not allow it. We have the other day members of parliament urging the Ugandan president to charge on and sign this particular bill, because here in Kenya we are going to take tough measures in ensuring that this particular vice does not take root in the Kenyan society. We had a very prominent writer here in Kenya, Bivanyanga, just come out of the closet and say that he is gay. But the union of men here in Kenya, that is the Maendeleo Wanaume movement, is not taking it lightly. They're saying this is an unnatural act that needs to be stopped. And just quoting one thing, they're saying that this is a man-made act and goes against all that entails African tradition. So it will not be accepted here in Africa. But we're waiting to see what exactly will take place here in Kenya. Will the members of parliament, the policymakers, come together and make a bill to be able to be assented to law to ensure that Kenyans do not take up this particular vice, as they put it. So we're waiting to see what exactly happens. And also what is happening in Uganda, just to bring in this particular aspect. We're having a human rights group come out and say that indeed Barack Obama, the president of the United States, should come out and give stern sanctions against Uganda. We know that Uganda receives about $400 million annually in its aid project between it and US. So people are saying US needs to take tougher measures. It needs to stop giving out that money. People need to be shown, that is Mr. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, that indeed, that if he does not uphold human rights, then he will not be helped by anyone. And that includes the United Nations and also the United States of America. But we're waiting to see how this story unfolds. We'll give you timely updates as it happens. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook. We'll give you timely updates of this particular story. Now, moving on to matters still politics in Kenya and still touching on policymakers. We had the story of Mr. Martin Wambora, the governor of the impeached governor of Embu County. Now, Mr. Wambora has been impeached by the Senate, citing reasons of corruption. So a lot of people are actually tagging this particular conflict between the Senate and the governors as the reason why Mr. Wambora has been removed off his position. People are calling it a witch hunt, so we are waiting to see if indeed this is a witch hunt. But what we know is that Chief Justice William Mutunga has commissioned a 3-judge bench to ensure that indeed this particular trial has a fair justice kind of. It is a fair trial where justice is going to be upheld. So we had him go to the courts, Mr. Wambora, to block the Senate from impeaching him. But the reason why they continued with the impeachment was because the particular letter that he got from the judge telling the Senate not to impeach him did not have a stamp of the judge. So that was the reason why. So they said, the Senate said that this particular document is not authentic because it does not have the seal of the Judicial Service Commission. So that's the reason why he got this particular impeachment. But also governors have moved to court in solidarity of their own. One of them, Mr. Wambora, they've gone to court to stop the gazettement of his impeachment, because once it hits the Gazette, it only has 2 weeks, a fortnight for the Electoral Commission to be given the go-ahead to give a fresh date for a fresh election. But Ms. Nditi of who is basically the deputy governor of Embu has been told not to vie for the governor position or to become the next governor in the absence of this particular governor until elections are held, because people believe that she is not suitable for this particular position. So a lot of controversy is surrounding this particular story, but one person really highlighted, and I think I would actually say this confidently in this particular segment, that indeed he is citing that indeed the people of the region that is the Mount Kenya region, have not come up in arms, saying that indeed our governor has been caught, and he is not. He's been caught falsely. So there's no, the people in the region are not. They're not crying foul. So indeed, it beggars the question, if the people in the region are not angry with the decision of the Senate, then there has to be a hidden agenda, a hidden story that the public is not aware of, that indeed Mr. Wambora is indeed guilty of this particular charge of corruption. But the story is making way through. This particular story is Embu County. We have here is basically about how this particular case is indeed going to be a trendsetter. Will other governors in the country be caught and caught in this particular impeachment story? Will other governors fall suit, have the same fate? So we're waiting to see how this particular story unfolds in the trial chambers to ensure that indeed it does not happen to any other person. But basically, take a look at this whole particular war to understand what exactly Mr. Here Justice Muturi, the Speaker of the National Assembly, is saying, or just read through. It is actually quite informative for you. But I'll stay tuned to this particular story to give you timely updates of what unfolds. I'm Cherotich Kenei, and this was the On Trend segment.